Hey everyone, hope you all are well. I'm kicking things off today by priming the eye area. I've taken my foundation across my lid and now I'm setting the product in place with some of my face powder. This is the Rimmel Stay Matte Translucent Powder, and the combination of these two products works the same way as a primer slash base would. And today now I'm using the nude palette from Maybelline, and after last week's video you're probably like, why Eimear? But I bought 3 of the palettes, so here we are. The first shadow I'm taking is this light brown, the second shadow in from the left, and I'm using this as my transition shade. I'm placing my brush down on the outer portion of the crease and using little sweeping motions to take the colour across into the crease. And once I've coated the deepest part of the crease area, then I'm moving my brush up a little higher and I'm starting to blend back and forward, and this will just blend and fade the shadow upwards. So you want the shadow to fade out to nothing the closer to the brow that you get. So I'm just adding a second layer of this shadow now, and I notice it doesn't look the same on the eyes as it does in the pan, but I don't really mind that because I like the appearance of it anyway. And I notice that in general with the palette the colours appear a little bit differently on the skin, but like I said, it's fine. So once I'm happy happy enough with how that looks, I'm switching to a smaller bullet shaped brush and I'm coating the lower lash line with the shadow, just sweeping back and forward. Next then, I'm taking the eyeshadow on the bottom row, the second one in from the left, and I'm going to start by deepening up the look. So I start by lightly tapping the eyeshadow down on the outer third, and then I make my way up and across the crease. So this palette definitely performs better than the previous 2 that I tried. If you were to pick up one out of the burgundy and the 24 karat nudes and this palette, I'd definitely go with this one. And I mean, the colour selection most people would probably prefer anyway. Now I'm going back in with the bullet shaped brush and I'm sweeping the shadow down along the lower lash line, making sure that I connect up on that outer corner. Now I'm using the NYX Jumbo Pencil in Black Bean. It's a favourite product of mine and one that I haven't used in quite a while. So I'm starting by sketching some of this across the upper lash line, and you don't have to be neat because we'll be blending it in a second. So I'm using now a flat synthetic brush as this works best with creams, and I'm just using this to smudge out the pencil. And all I'm doing is tapping and wriggling over the pencil, pulling my brush upwards as I go to fade out the pencil, and this is going to act as a nice deep dark base for the shadow that I'll be applying next. And you're going to need to do this in a few layers, so reapply your pencil and blend until that lid is nice and evenly coated. Switching to the 24 karat nudes palette now, I'm taking the black glittery shadow. It's got a lovely golden greeny particle running throughout it, and I'm using a wet brush to pat this shadow onto the lid. And the fact that I've used the shadow wet along with the fact that I've put down a cream base is really going to allow the shadow to grip to the lid and make those shimmery particles really pop. And I adore this shadow. I just love a deep glitzy glam look. So as always now, I'm just adding a couple of layers of that shadow until I'm happy with the colour payoff. Next then, I'm taking the shadow on the top row, the one next to our transition shade, and I'm using this to bridge the gap between the lid and transition shade. So it just means that we'll be going from a black to a charcoal brown to light brown, as opposed to the harshness of a black to light brown. So we're creating a nice gradient and we're fading from dark to light. And I'm just using a small blending brush to blend the eyeshadow into the crease. Now then, I'm using an angled brush to add some of the black shadow down along the lower lash line. So the darkest shadow in the palette, it was the first one on the bottom row on the right hand corner. And now then I'm using a smudger brush just to really smoke out the edges of the black. To line my waterline then, I'm using this pencil from number 7, and then I decided I really wanted to make the lid really nice and glitzy, so I'm taking a product from Collection. It's the Glam Crystals liner in Dig It, and I'm sweeping some of this across the lid. Then I'm going back in with my flat C-shaped brush to make sure that there's just not random chunks of glitter. I'm just tapping it over the top to spread it out nicely. Finally then, I'm adding some of the Paris lashes, and to finish off the look, I'm taking this shimmery champagne shade and I'm using a pencil brush to sweep this around the tear duct of the eye for a nice pop. Finally then, to blend my own lashes in with the false ones, I'm adding some of the Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara. But then that's it. So I hope you enjoyed the tutorial and found it helpful. I hope you're all keeping safe and well. And I will catch you in a video really soon. If you haven't subscribed, make sure to do so. leave me a comment and a thumbs up, and I'll catch you all really soon.